I sat at the edge of the couch, rubbing my palms together while the kitchen clock clicked louder than my heartbeat. "Lena, can we talk?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She didn't look at me at first. She just kept staring at her phone, the blue light shining on her face. "I'm listening," she said. I swallowed hard. "You've been quiet all week. Is something wrong?" She sighed, placed the phone down, and walked toward me. "Ethan, I need to tell you something, and I need you to stay calm." My stomach tightened. "Okay," I whispered. "Just say it." She sat beside me, but kept a little distance, as if my touch might burn her. "I'm pregnant," she said softly. My mind went blank for a second. "Pregnant?" I repeated. "Yeah," she looked down at her hands. "And I want you to raise the baby with me." Something inside me twisted. "Why does that sound like you're scared?" I asked. She shook her head. "I'm not scared. I just need you to trust me." Trust. The word stabbed me. I nodded slowly, even though confusion filled my chest. "Of course I trust you," I said, though my voice cracked. "If you're pregnant, then we can make this work." Right. But she didn't smile. She didn't even breathe in relief. Instead, she stared at the floor as if she was afraid it might speak for her. "Lena, what aren't you telling me?" I asked. She bit her lip but didn't answer. "Is it about him?" I said, my voice dropping. She winced, and I felt the old wound reopen inside me. Adrian, the man she once left me for. His name still made me feel small. "Ethan, please don't," she whispered. "I came back to you because I wanted a different life." I nodded, but my chest ached. "I know," I said. "You told me he wasn't good for you. You told me you chose me." She finally met my eyes. "I did choose you," she said, but her voice trembled. I leaned forward. "Then why do I feel like you're hiding something from me?" She didn't reply. I felt fear crawl up my spine. "Lena, talk to me, please." She folded her arms. "You always think the worst of yourself, Ethan. You think people leave because you're not enough." I frowned. "I'm asking because I love you." She shook her head. "Love shouldn't sound so desperate." Her words cut deep, sharper than I expected. "I'm not desperate," I said. I just want to understand what you want from me," she whispered. "I want you to stay." "I'm here, aren't I?" I said. She nodded but looked away again. "Then tell me why you're shaking," I added. "Because I don't know how you'll react," she admitted. "To what?" I asked. She pressed her forehead to her hands. "I'm scared you'll hate me." My heart raced. "Lena, I married you. I'm not going to hate you. Just tell me," she whispered. "I need you more than ever, Ethan." I reached for her hand, but she pulled away. "Why does it feel like you're choosing your words too carefully?" She didn't answer, and silence filled the room so thick it felt like smoke. I leaned back and stared at the ceiling. "Lena, if you want me to raise this baby, I will. But I need to know why you're acting like this," she whispered. "Because I don't deserve someone like you." I frowned. "That's not an answer." She covered her face. "I keep thinking about the past." My throat tightened. "About Adrian?" She nodded slowly. A cold wave hit me. "Why?" I asked. "Because I ruined everything back then," she said. "And now I'm scared I'll ruin it again." I felt the old jealousy flare, but I tried to stay calm. "You came back to me," I said softly. "That has to mean something." She looked at me with eyes full of something I couldn't name. "It meant hope," she said. "But tonight I feel like everything is slipping again." I moved closer. "Then hold on to me," I said. She shook her head. "You don't understand. I'm pregnant, Ethan, and I need you to stay, even if things get messy." My heart pounded. I said I would stay. She whispered, "Promise me." It nodded slowly. "I promise." But inside, a voice whispered that she wasn't telling me the whole truth. That night, I stood by the stove, stirring the soup, trying to keep my voice steady. "Lena, you should eat something warm tonight," I said. She sat at the table, scrolling through her phone, barely looking up. "I'm not hungry," she muttered. I forced a small smile. "It's for the baby." "You need it." She sighed loudly. "Stop acting like everything is fine." Her cold tone stung. I'm trying, I whispered. I just want to help, she didn't reply. I placed the bowl in front of her. Please. She pushed it away. I said I'm not hungry. I stood there feeling stupid. Okay, I murmured. Do you want to talk? She shook her head. Not really. The room felt tight. I hated how every word between us turned into a wall. Is it me? I asked quietly. Did I do something wrong? She kept her eyes on her phone. You always think everything is your fault.
Ice.
I'm asking because you feel far away. She rolled her eyes. You overthink too much. When her phone buzzed, she flipped it face down fast. My chest tightened. Who was that? I asked. No one, she said sharply. Just work. I nodded, even though her voice didn't sound like truth. If something's bothering you, tell me, I said. I'm fine, she snapped. At work the next day, Paige noticed my mood instantly. You look like hell, Ethan, she said. I tried to laugh it off. Rough night. She crossed her arms. You fighting with Lena again? I shook my head. Not fighting. Just distant. Paige frowned. She'll tell you why? I hesitated. She's pregnant. Paige blinked. And that's making her act like you're a stranger? I sighed. I don't know. Paige leaned closer. Ethan, listen. Something is off. People don't hide their phones from their husbands unless there's a reason. I felt my stomach twist. She's stressed, I said. Paige scoffed. You always make excuses for her. I didn't argue because part of me knew she was right. When I got home, Lena sat on the couch. Hey, I said softly. She barely nodded. I picked up your vitamins, I added. Put them on the counter. She didn't thank me. I sat beside her carefully. Can we talk tonight? She kept staring at the TV. About what? Us, I said. She sighed. There's nothing to talk about, Lena. I feel like you're slipping away from me. I finally glanced at me. You're imagining things. I shook my head. You won't look at me. You won't touch me. You barely speak to me, she groaned. I'm tired. You're always tired now, I said softly. Because I'm pregnant, she snapped. Stop questioning me. Her phone buzzed again. She grabbed it fast. A small smile appeared on her face, soft and warm, nothing like the strained expression she gave me. I felt my heart sink as she typed quickly, her fingers shaking just a little. I watched her smile fade when she realized I was staring. What? She said sharply. Nothing, I whispered, though something inside me cracked. She turned her body away from me, shielding the screen. I stood up slowly. Lena, can you just talk to me? Please, she didn't answer. I walked to the kitchen, pretending I needed water. I heard her whisper, "Stop messaging me right now," followed by a short laugh. My hands trembled around the glass. When she finally set the phone down, I asked, "Was that your boss?" She froze briefly. "Yes," she said. "Why would your boss make you smile like that?" I asked. She frowned. "Don't start," sighed. "I want honesty, that's all." She brushed past me. "I'm taking a shower." The door closed hard. I leaned against the counter, feeling doubts claw at me. I hated myself for questioning her, but the fear felt real. When the shower started, her phone buzzed again. This time, the screen lit up with one name, Adrian. My chest tightened as I stared at the screen, unable to breathe. I whispered, "Why him?" even though no one could hear me. Felt trapped. I stood outside the bathroom door listening to the water run, my heart beat louder than the pipes. I whispered to myself, "Don't do this," but my hand still reached for Lena's phone on the dresser. My fingers shook as I unlocked it, using the code she thought I didn't know. "Just check, then stop," I muttered, even though I already felt sick. The moment her messages opened, my stomach twisted. An unsaved number filled the top of the screen. "I can't wait to see our child." My breath stopped. No, I whispered. There were more messages. "You said you'd tell him soon. He doesn't deserve to be in the middle." "I miss you." I felt the air leave my body. "Adrian," I whispered when I scrolled up and saw his name pop up in an older thread. My chest tightened like someone pressed a fist against my heart. Why him? Why again? The shower shut off. Panic shot through me. I put the phone back exactly where it was, but my hands were trembling so badly I almost dropped it. My throat felt dry. I paced once, twice, trying to breathe. When she walked out, towel wrapped around her hair, she froze, seeing my face. "What's wrong with you?" she asked. I swallowed hard. "Lena, we need to talk."
Ice.
"Again?" I pointed at the dresser. "Your phone buzzed." I checked it. Her arm stiffened. "You went through my phone?" "Yes," I said. My voice cracked. "Who is he?" She blinked. "Who?" "Don't do that," I whispered. "Don't pretend you don't know." She crossed her arms. "Ethan, explain what you think you saw." I stepped closer, my voice shaking. I saw the messages. I saw what he said about our child. She didn't move. Her face didn't crack. Her eyes didn't soften. "It's a misunderstanding," she said calmly. My knees almost gave out. A misunderstanding? He said he can't wait to see our child. Lena, what part of that is unclear? She shrugged like it was nothing. He's dramatic. He exaggerates. Adrian always talks like that. It doesn't mean anything. I stared at her, disbelief burning in my chest. "You said you cut him off," she sighed. "I tried. He kept texting. It's not my fault." "I saw your replies," I whispered. "You didn't tell him to stop." She looked away. "I didn't want to start a fight with him." "A fight with him?" I said. "What about me? What about your husband?" She bit her lip but didn't answer. I felt tears sting my eyes. "Lena, just tell me the truth. Are you still talking to him?" Sometimes she admitted, "Only because he stresses me out and I want him to leave me alone." "That's not how your messages looked," I shot back. "You told him things. You promised him things." She glared at me. "You always twist everything. You always overthink. You always assume I'm betraying you." I laughed painfully. "I'm reading your own words." She stepped past me toward the closet. "I'm not doing this right now." "Yes, you are," I said, grabbing her arm gently. "You're going to tell me why he thinks the baby is his?" She pulled away sharply. "Don't touch me when you're like this." "Like what?" I asked. "Like someone whose wife is hiding a baby from him?" She opened the closet door. "I told you already. It's a misunderstanding." "Stop saying that," I said, voice cracking. "You think I'm stupid?" She didn't answer. She just kept rummaging through her clothes as if I wasn't standing there breaking apart. I felt my chest collapse. "Lena, did you plan this?" She froze for a second, but didn't turn around. "Did you come back to me because you knew I'd stay no matter what?" I whispered. "Was I just the safe option?" She finally exhaled. "You're making this much bigger than it is." I felt something inside me snap. "He thinks the child is his," I said softly, "and you're letting him think it." "I can't control what he thinks." "You didn't deny it either," I said. "Not once." She walked past me again. "I'm done talking." I stood there, my voice fading. "Lena, is the baby even mine?" She didn't look at me, didn't pause, didn't say a word. She just walked away, and I felt the first crack split straight through me. "I need you to say it," I whispered. "Don't look away this time." Lena's eyes didn't flinch. "Fine. The child might be Adrian's." My throat closed. "Might?" She shrugged, voice flat. "I'm not sure. It happened once. A mistake." "I've told you that already." "No," I said, shaking my head. "You told me nothing? You let me guess? You let me hope." "I didn't want to fight," she muttered. "You always get intense." I laughed, sharp and painful. "Intense? You think this is about intensity?" She crossed her arms. "Adrian isn't stable enough to be a father. You know that. You saw the way he acts." "I can't trust him." "You can trust me," I said bitterly. "Yes," she said. "You're safe. You're dependable, calm, predictable." "Those aren't compliments," I snapped. "They're facts," she replied. "I need someone who won't explode, who won't vanish, who won't gamble or scream. I need someone steady for the baby, So you want me to raise another man's child because I'm safe? Because you're you. A door opened behind me. Marcus walked in without knocking. I heard enough, he said, and I'm 2 seconds from dragging you out of here, little brother. I turned. Marcus, don't. No, you don't, he said, stepping between us. She calls you predictable? Good. At least you're not a liar. Lena frowned. This is between us. Marcus scoffed. Then maybe you should have respected him enough to tell the truth before now. Another voice chimed in from the hallway. She wasn't going to, Ivy said, leaning against the frame. Her expression was sharp, disappointed. Lena's been hiding this for weeks. Ivy, stop, Lena hissed. Ivy shot back. He deserves better than being your backup plan. I rubbed my temples. Please, everyone, just slow down. No, Marcus said. You've been slow your whole life. Always patient. Always forgiving. And look where it got you. Ivy nodded. He's right. You keep protecting Lena, even when she's the one hurting you. Lena's voice rose. I'm pregnant. Everything is confusing. I'm trying to do what's best. For who? Ivy snapped. You, him? The baby, Adrian. You don't even know. I know I want stability. Lena shouted. And you think that means using me? I said quietly. She froze. I'm not using you. You are, Marcus growled. You're asking him to sacrifice his heart so you can feel safe. Oh, I looked at her. Did you ever think about what I want? She blinked. I thought you wanted a family. I wanted our family, I whispered. Not a lie held together with fear. The room went silent. Ivy walked toward me, gently touching my arm. You don't have to stay in this. No one would blame you for walking away, Marcus added. And if you stay, it better be because you choose yourself first this time. Not her, not the baby, you. My chest tightened. I don't know what to do. Lena's voice softened. I want you with me. I want us to fix this. I don't want to lose you, but you already broke me, I said. She stepped closer. I can make it right.
How?
I asked, pretending the child is mine. Hoping Adrian never shows up again? Calling me safe every time you feel scared? She bit her lip. I don't know. I don't want to do this alone, Marcus whispered to me. She's scared. Fear makes people cling to whoever feels solid. That doesn't mean it's love. Ivy nodded. You deserve someone who chooses you, not someone who needs you as a shield. Lena's voice cracked. I do choose you. Then why didn't you tell me sooner? I asked. Why did I have to drag the truth out of you? She looked down. Because saying it out loud makes it real. And now it is, I said. Painfully real. Silence wrapped around us again, heavy and suffocating. I felt Marcus's steady presence on my left, Ivy's quiet support on my right, and Lena's trembling breath in front of me. 3 voices pulling me in different directions, and one breaking inside my chest. I whispered, I don't know if I should fight for this marriage or save myself.
Ow.
No one spoke. No one moved. Still, as the room's air thickened around us, I felt my heartbeat begging me to choose clarity over fear before everything collapsed again entirely. You said. I sat on Marcus's couch, feeling hollow, and he kept watching me like he expected me to break. Just say something, he said. But I shook my head and stared at the floor. My phone buzzed again. Lena. I turned it face down. She's called you 10 times, Marcus said. Why answer? I whispered. Because I still don't understand why she did it. He let out a sharp breath. You don't need to understand. You just need to stop letting her drag you around. I rubbed my eyes. I'm angry. I'm ashamed. I feel stupid. Marcus sat beside me. All of it hurts. That doesn't mean you let her walk over you. My phone buzzed again. I didn't touch it. She said the baby might be Adrian's, I murmured. She said, I'm the safe option. Marcus muttered. She used you because you're good. Paige called later that night. You need a plan, she said. I sighed. I don't know where to start, she replied. Start with the truth. When the baby's born, get a paternity test. Quietly. I hesitated. Isn't that wrong? What's wrong? She said. Is you being played? I lay awake after the call, staring at the ceiling. My chest felt tight, but a spark of control rose inside me. I whispered, I won't be used anymore. The next morning, Lena called again. I let it ring. Marcus raised an eyebrow. She's getting nervous. Shrugged. A message from Adrian popped up. So you ran away? Another followed. Trying to keep a woman who never loved you? My hands tightened around the phone. Marcus read over my shoulder. Block him. Not yet. I said, throughout the day, I paced the living room. I trusted her, I said. Marcus answered, people show who they are when things get messy. I asked, do I fight for the marriage or walk away? Marcus said, fight for yourself first. I sank into the couch and said, I keep replaying everything she told me. Marcus replied, that's normal, but it won't change anything. Da-da, I said. I keep wondering if I missed signs. He shook his head. You believed in your marriage. That isn't a weakness. I whispered, then why do I feel like I lost something I never actually had? Marcus said, because trust makes you believe the best in people. By evening, Paige dropped by with food. You look like a storm cloud, she said. I gave a weak laugh. Feels accurate. She sat down. Your life is not over. You don't need Lena's chaos. I asked, what if I'm making a mistake? Paige said, the mistake would be letting people who don't respect you decide your future. I asked her, do you think she ever loved me? Paige paused. I think she loved the version of you that made her feel safe. But love without honesty isn't love. I swallowed hard. So what do I do now? She replied, heal. Then decide. We talked for hours. Paige pushed, Marcus pushed, and slowly I started pushing myself. When Lena called again, I finally said, not now, and turned the phone off. 2 days passed. I ate, slept, walked outside. I kept repeating, I won't be used again. On the third night, someone knocked hard on the door. Marcus frowned. When he opened it, Lena stood there, eyes red, breath shaking. I need to talk to him, she said. My stomach twisted. She stepped inside. I'm sorry, she whispered. I want you back. Her voice trembled, but something felt off forced. Wrong? I asked. Why now? She swallowed. Because I realized I can't lose you. Marcus crossed his arms. Paige muttered, convenient. I stepped back, trying to read her face. She kept wiping her eyes, but the tears seemed controlled. I've been thinking non-stop, she said. I realized how much you mean to me. Her words sounded, but something felt rehearsed. Like she was performing a role she hadn't practiced enough. Lena reached for my hand. Please, come home. My heart pounded, but a colder voice inside me whispered, don't fall for this. I said, I need the truth, not another performance. Her face flickered, and that crack told me she was still hiding something. I stood beside Lena's hospital bed, feeling nothing and everything at once. She winced in pain, gripping the rails. Ethan, stay close, she whispered. I nodded, but my voice barely came out. I'm here. Hours later, the cry of a newborn filled the room. The nurse said, congratulations, and handed me a tiny bundle. I stared down at Millismall, warm, innocent. My hands shook as I whispered, hi. The word stuck. Father, I couldn't say it. I just held her, feeling a weight settle on my chest. Lena watched me. She's beautiful, right? I nodded. Yeah, she is. My throat tightened. Not from love, something closer to grief. Another nurse walked in. First-time parents, huh? I forced a smile. Yeah, something like that. Lena laughed softly, the first soft laugh I'd heard from her in months. You're doing great, she said. Her voice sounded sweet, too sweet like sugar covering metal. When the nurses stepped out, Lena whispered, thank you for staying. I know things were messy. I said nothing. She reached for my arm. I mean it. Thank you. Forced myself to answer. You should rest. A few minutes later, the door cracked open, and Ivy stepped in, holding flowers. Hey, she said quietly. Can I come in? Lena smiled. Yeah, of course. Ivy walked to my side and stared at Mila. She's tiny, she whispered. I handed her over, and Ivy cradled the baby gently. Then she leaned closer and said in a low voice, I'm sorry, stiffened. For what? She sighed. For everything Lena put you through. I know she won't say it herself. Lena looked toward us. What are you two whispering about? Ivy shot back, nothing you'd like. Lena frowned. Ivy, not now, Ivy said. You just had a baby. Relax. I cleared my throat. I'm going to step out for a second, Lena asked. Everything okay? I nodded. Just need air. Outside, I leaned against the wall, clutching Mila's tiny swab in my pocket. Paige's voice echoed in my head. Get the truth, even if it hurts. I whispered, I'm sorry, Mila, and slipped the swab into the DNA test kit bag. It felt wrong and right at the same time. I sealed the envelope and dropped it into the courier box down the hall. When I walked back in, Ivy pulled me aside. Are you really okay? She asked. I shrugged. I don't know. She looked at my face for a long moment. You don't deserve this. Whatever happens, choose yourself. Her voice cracked on the last word. Please. I sat down again beside the bed. Lena smiled weakly. Come sit closer. I moved my chair by a few inches. She whispered, I want us to be a family. I want to fix things. I stared at her. Do you? She nodded. Yes, I know I messed up, but I realized what matters. I asked quietly, and what is that? She took a shaky breath. You and Mila, our future. She touched my hand gently, almost cautiously. Can we try again? I stared at her fingers, then at Mila sleeping in the bassinet. We'll talk, I said. Not now. She swallowed but nodded. Okay, the hours blurred. Nurses came and went. Ivy held Mila again. Lena drifted in and out of sleep. I kept staring at the baby, wondering what my life would look like if the truth was worse than I feared or if it was exactly what I already knew. Late in the evening, Ivy whispered, I know she hurt you. I know you're pretending to be calm, but you look like you're breaking. Let out a breath. I'm tired of breaking. Ivy touched my shoulder lightly. Then stop letting her be the one who decides your worth, I whispered. I don't want to hurt anyone. Ivy shook her head. Sometimes protecting yourself isn't hurting someone. Sometimes it's the only sane thing left. When she stepped away, I sat alone with Mila again. I whispered, I don't know who I am to you. I don't know what happens next. My voice cracked. But I'll face it. That night, back at Marcus's place, my phone buzzed. An email notification popped up, DNA results available. My heart slammed against my ribs. Marcus asked, You gonna open it? I whispered, yeah, tapped the screen. And when the numbers appeared, my breath stopped. Marcus sat beside me as I stared at the email. My thumb hovered over the screen. He whispered, Open it. I nodded and tapped. The page loaded. My eyes froze on the numbers. 0% probability. Marcus exhaled. Ethan, but I felt strangely steady. No shaking. No tears. Just a deep, settled calm. I knew, I whispered. I just needed proof. You okay? He asked. I'm not sure, I said. But I'm not falling apart this time, Lena called right then. I answered. Hey, she said softly. Are you coming to the hospital today? I'm on my way, I replied. Marcus looked at me with a mix of worry and respect. At the hospital, Lena smiled weakly when I walked in. You look tired, she murmured. I'm fine, I said. My voice sounded steady, almost too steady. She reached for my hand. I'm glad you're here, pulled a chair close. We need to talk. Her smile faded instantly. About what? I held up my phone. The test came back, her face drained of color. Ethan, you didn't? I did, I said. I needed the truth. She shook her head, panic rising. You shouldn't have done that. I had every right, I said. It's my life, too. She bit her lip hard. What? What did it say? It said 0%, I answered. Her breath hitched, and for a moment she didn't speak. Then she whispered, "I'm sorry." "Oh, she's not enough," I said quietly. She started crying instantly, hands covering her face. "Please, Ethan, don't leave me." I stared at her. "Why?" She sobbed harder. "Because I need you." "It's not love," I said. "That's fear." She reached toward me, shaking. "I was scared, okay?" Adrian left. He said he wasn't ready, that the baby wasn't part of his plan. He blocked my number. He said I ruined his life. I didn't know what to do. I let her speak, but my chest stayed still. She continued, I thought you were the only one who never leaves. You always forgive me. You always stay. You're safe." I felt something inside me break, not from pain, but from clarity. "You used me because you thought I was predictable." She cried. "You didn't choose me," I said. "You chose convenience. You chose security." She grabbed my sleeve. "Please, Ethan, I can fix this. We can raise her together. Please don't walk away." I looked at her hand on my arm. Slowly, I pulled away. "You were wrong," I said. "I can leave." Our cry cracked into a sharp sob. "Ethan, don't say that, I mean it," I said. "I'm done." She shook her head violently. "You can't. You promised me forever." "I promised under the belief you were honest," I said. "But you weren't." She covered her face again, shoulders trembling. "I made mistakes, but I love you." "I do. Love doesn't use people," I said. "Love doesn't lie like this." At that moment, Ivy walked in with a coffee. She froze when she saw Lena crying. "What happened?" Lena wailed. "He's leaving me." Ivy looked at me, eyes wide. "You told her?" I nodded. "Yeah," she whispered. "Good." Lena glared at her. "How can you say that?" Ivy answered, "Because you've hurt him enough." Lena reached for me again. "Please, Ethan, please. We can start over." "No," I said. "I'm choosing myself this time." She collapsed against the pillows, whispering, "I have nothing." Adrian won't answer me. My friends stopped texting. Work keeps calling because I messed up deadlines. Everything is falling apart. "I need you," her voice cracked into a whisper. "Please don't go." I stood slowly. "Karma always arrives quietly," I said. "And it's here now. You just don't want to face it alone." She cried harder. "I'm begging you." I turned toward the door. Ivy touched my arm gently. "You did what you had to." I nodded once. "Take care of her," I said. I walked out of the room, feeling the weight lift with every step. For the first time in years, I wasn't drowning. I wasn't clinging. I was free, and I didn't look back. I walked into the lawyer's office with my hands shaking, but my voice stayed firm. "I want to file for divorce," I said. Hearing myself say it felt like breaking a chain. My lawyer nodded. "Are you certain?" "I've never been more certain," I answered when I left the office. My phone buzzed nonstop. Lena. I ignored it until the 5th call, then finally picked up. Her voice cracked instantly. "Ethan, what are you doing? Why did I get divorce papers?" "I'm ending this," I said. "I'm choosing myself." "You're angry," she cried. "You're acting out of hurt. Please come home. We can fix this." "There's nothing to fix," I replied. "The truth destroyed everything." She sniffed loudly. "I made mistakes, but you're punishing me too much. I need you." I exhaled slowly. "You don't need me. You need someone to carry your consequences." "That's not fair," she snapped. "It's honest," I said. "Marcus met me outside the building." "You did it?" "Yeah," I breathed. He clapped my shoulder. "Good. Now let's rebuild you." Paige joined us for lunch later. She smiled gently. "You look lighter, Ethan." "I feel it," I said. She leaned forward. "Therapy starts tomorrow, right?" "Yeah," I said. "I'm nervous." "We'll do great," she assured me. "Just tell the truth." When I got home, Lena's voice messages filled my inbox. I listened to one. "Ethan, please. I can't sleep. I can't think. Just talk to me." Another said, "I'll change. I'll do whatever you want," the last one whispered. Don't give up on us. I deleted them. Therapy felt strange at first. I sat across from the therapist, hands clenched. She asked, "Why are you here?" I answered honestly, "I don't want to be the person who lets pain guide my life." She nodded. "Then you're in the right place." Week by week, I found pieces of myself I'd forgotten: my old sketches, my guitar, my morning runs. Paige laughed when she saw me tuning the strings. "Look at you," she said. "You're starting over." "I'm remembering who I was," I replied. Ivy visited one evening. "You look different," she said. "How?" "Your eyes aren't tired anymore," she said softly. I smiled. "Feels good." Lena kept spiraling. She called again. This time I answered. "Ethan," she whispered, "Adrian won't help. He blocked me again. My mom is disappointed. My boss says I'm on thin ice. Everything is falling apart." "I'm sorry you're struggling," I said. "But that's not my responsibility." She cried harder. "Please don't say that. You're the only good thing I have left." "I can't be that anymore," I said. "Just meet me," she begged. "One last time, please?" I hesitated. Then I said, "Fine. One meeting." We met at the small park near the river. The evening was quiet, leaves rustling around us. She looked exhausted, mascara smudged, hands shaking. She stepped toward me. "Ethan, I miss you." "I know," I said. She tried to touch my arm. I stepped back gently. "We need to talk." She swallowed hard. "Can't we just start over?" "No," I said. "This isn't a break. It's an ending." Her eyes filled instantly. "But I love you." "I do. I swear I do." "Love doesn't erase what happened," I said. "And it doesn't excuse what you did." She covered her face. "I'm losing everything." "I hope you heal," I said. "Truly, but I won't be your lifeline anymore." She dropped her hands. "So that's it?" "That's it," I said. She shook her head in disbelief. "You're stronger than I thought." "Had to be," I replied. She whispered, "Will you ever come back?" "No," I said. "But you'll survive this. Maybe you'll grow from it." She took a shaky breath. "I'm sorry," I know, I said quietly. I turned toward the path. She didn't chase me. She just whispered, "Goodbye." I walked away slowly. With each step, the weight I'd carried for years slipped off my shoulders. The sky was dim, the air soft, and for the first time in forever, my chest didn't feel crushed. I breathed deeply. I kept walking. I didn't look back. I spent months rebuilding myself piece by piece, and every morning I woke with a calmer breath. When Marcus asked, "You sleeping better now?" I nodded and said, "Yeah, for the first time in years." He grinned and told me I finally looked human again. I laughed because it actually felt true. Paige showed up one Saturday with coffee. "You're glowing," she teased. I raised an eyebrow. "Glowing? Really?" She nudged me. "Don't fight it." "You're doing better," I admitted. "I'm figuring things out." She smiled. "That's what healing looks like." My days settled into a new rhythm. Therapy on Mondays, running on Wednesdays, quiet nights, sketching again. When I told my therapist I don't feel broken anymore, she said, "You were never broken. You were hurting." Hearing that made something warm open inside me. Ivy started joining me for coffee after sessions. One afternoon she said, "I'm glad you're not drowning anymore." I chuckled. "You always say dramatic stuff," she shrugged. "Someone has to." I looked at her and said, "Thanks for not pretending everything was fine back then," she replied. "You deserved honesty." We walked along the river often, talking about music, work, random plans. She told me, "You think too much." I told her, "Someone has to balance your chaos." She flicked my shoulder. "I'm not chaos." I smirked. "Sure," she laughed. "Okay, maybe a little." People came into my life easily now. A coworker invited me to a weekend hike. A neighbor asked if I wanted to join a book club. I said yes to things I used to avoid. I felt room inside me again. Sometimes Lena crossed my mind. Not with anger, just as a distant chapter. One evening, Ivy noticed me staring at the water and asked, "Thinking about her?" I nodded. "Sometimes," she asked softly. "Does it hurt?" I shook my head. No, it's just a memory now, Ivy said. That means you healed, you know? I whispered, yeah, I guess I did. Paige invited Marcus and me to a small dinner celebration. For what? I asked. She grinned. For you learning how to live again. Akuz lifted his glass. To my little brother finally growing a backbone? I groaned. You're never gonna let it go, are you? He laughed. Never. Paige clinked my glass. You survived the storm. I looked at both of them and said, I didn't survive alone. As the months stretched forward, I noticed the change in myself. When someone complimented me, I accepted it instead of shrinking. When someone crossed a boundary, I spoke up instead of swallowing it. I told Ivy one day, I feel like I know myself again. She smiled warmly. I like this version of you, I asked. Why? She replied, because you finally like yourself too. I began enjoying quiet mornings, my coffee, my playlist, my balcony. I didn't miss the tension that used to fill my home. I didn't miss walking on emotional glass. Sometimes I wondered how I ever survived that long. One afternoon, while sketching at the park, a stranger walked by and said, Your art looks peaceful. I smiled. Thanks, and I realized he was right. My lines weren't heavy anymore. My hands didn't shake. My thoughts weren't trapped in survival mode. Lena called once. Months after the divorce finalized, I didn't pick up. She sent a short message. I hope you're okay. I stared at it for a moment, then let it fade into the background. I didn't owe her anything, not anger, not forgiveness, not attention. Just silence. Later that night, as I sat on my balcony, Ivy texted, Want company? I typed back, Not tonight, but thank you. She replied with a heart emoji and a simple, Proud of you. And for the first time ever, I believed someone could be proud of me. Marcus visited the following weekend. You're different now, he said. I asked, Good different? He nodded. Yeah, you stand taller, I chuckled. Feels like I can breathe again, he said. That's what moving on does. As the sun set behind him, I thought about the journey that lies. The pain, the nights I felt hollow, the mornings I forced myself to rise. All of it brought me here, to this quiet moment. Where peace didn't feel like a stranger, I whispered to myself. I was not the man she wanted, but I finally became the man I needed. I walked through the mall a year after everything ended, feeling calm in a way I never thought possible. Then I heard a voice behind me say, Well, look who it is. I turned and saw Adrian standing there. His eyes were tired, his shoulders slumped. He looked nothing like the man who once made me feel small. I said, Adrian. He smirked weakly. Surprised to see me? I shrugged. Not really. He stepped closer. Heard you and Lena are done? Guess you lost everything after all. I felt a strange peace instead of anger. I didn't lose everything, I said. I lost something heavy. He frowned. You really think that? I nodded. Yeah, I moved on. He scoffed. You act like you won. I replied, No, I didn't win anything. But I grew. You could have too. He looked confused. What's that supposed to mean? I said, You ran from responsibility. You hurt people because it was easy. You didn't lose me. You lost a chance to become better. For a moment, he didn't speak. His mouth opened, then closed again. Whatever, he muttered, turning away. I let him go, feeling lighter. Later that week, I stopped by a cafe near the river. As I walked out, I bumped into someone. Sorry, I said, then froze when I saw Herlina. She looked older, tired, and smaller than I remembered. Her voice shook. Ethan, hi, I said softly. Hi, Lena. She swallowed hard. You look good, I nodded. Thanks. She hesitated before whispering, Can we talk? Just for a moment. I didn't want to reopen old wounds, but something in her eyes wasn't manipulation, it was regret. We walked to the side. She said, I'm not going to beg you for anything. I'm sorry, I asked. Sorry for what exactly? She wiped her face. For everything. For lying. For using you. For hurting you when you trusted me the most? I breathed slowly. That hurt for a long time, she whispered. I know. I said, you broke me. She nodded quickly. I know, and I regret it every day. Her voice cracked. You didn't deserve any of it. I looked at her carefully. I'm not the same person I was then. I can see that. You look stronger, I replied. I am, she whispered. I don't expect forgiveness, I said, but I'm giving it anyway. Her eyes widened. Why? I answered. Because carrying anger is too heavy. I needed to put it down. She covered her face as she cried softly. Thank you, she whispered. I didn't say anything else. We simply nodded and walked away in opposite directions. That evening, I went to the riverside. It was the same place I used to sit when the nights felt endless. I sat on the bench, listening to the quiet water move. I whispered, it's strange coming back here. I remembered the nights I sat crying, wondering if I would ever feel whole again. I whispered to the river. I thought grief would end me. The wind brushed against my face. But it didn't, I said softly. It changed me. I looked at the reflection of the sky on the water and thought about everything: the betrayal, the heartbreak, the slow rebuilding of my soul. I said quietly, pain doesn't leave empty spaces. It makes room for new strength. I inhaled slowly. I'm proud of who I became. Standing up, I took one last look at the river, the place that once held my lowest moments. I whispered, I survived, and I chose my life. Kept walking along the path, feeling each step settle into something real. I thought about the people who stood by my Marcus, pushing me forward. Paige refusing to let me quit, Ivy showing me kindness I didn't know I needed. Their voices stayed with me like steady anchors. I whispered to myself that healing was never quick, never simple, but it was possible. Hope didn't return suddenly. It grew slowly, like light after a long storm, warming every part of me, and I welcomed my new life with peace.